Hello everyone, I am Vijay Katta and today we will start with the unit number 4 concepts. So in the unit number 4, we will deal with the transport layer, session layer and presentation layer issues. So from the unit number 4 syllabus aspects, we will start with the transport layer design issues, then addressing scheme defined at the transport layer. Then we will study two important protocols that is called as TCP and UDP protocols along with their connection management concepts. Then from the session layer design issues are the important terms. And for the presentation layers point of view, presentation layer design issues, then compression techniques like lossless compression technique and lossy compression techniques are the important parameters that discuss at the transport layer. And the most important point, that is the security parameters. So cryptography, that is encryption and decryption techniques, are the responsibility of presentation layers. So we will start our discussion with the transport layer. So when we talk about the communication or delivery of the packet, so our one communication is divided into basically uh, consider in the three parts. First one is called as a node to node delivery. Second one is called as the host to host delivery, and third one is called as your process to process delivery. So I'm going to explain these three terms from the one diagram. I have taken this diagram from Frozen's book. So whenever the communication start from the our source machine and then to the just next immediate machine, for simplicity, I consider it as a router. This communication between these two neighbors are called as the node-to-node communication. Then from router number one to router number two, again that when this packet travels, then this is a node-to-node. When that same message is travels from router number two to router number three to router number four, then the respective is called as the node-to-node communication. Now, when we said the respective message is sent from machine number one to machine number two, this is called as the host-to-host communication. And finally, uh, from the respective sending process to respective receiving process, this communication is called as a process-to-process communication. Now, process-to-process communication, that is called as the end-to-end communication, is a responsibility of the transport layer. So to provide the guarantee that message has been transferred from respective sending process to respective receiving process is called as the process to process or end to end communication. So now uh, you have to identify which layer is responsible for host to host communication and which layer is responsible for the node to node communication. Basically, when two machines are at far apart from each other and we transfer our message, then when that message is transferred from the first machine to the just next immediate device, then node to node, it means first we perform node to node communication, then that message via this node to node, when that packet is received at receiver end, then we call this communication or we represent this term as a host to host. And when that respective packet we consider from source machine to destination machine, then we call it as a process to process communication. Basically, at the transport layer, whatever the data we consider or the it is called as a TPDU, transport protocol data unit. Now let's start with the basic transport layer concept. So transport layer is mainly responsible for process to process delivery. Two process communicate basically in the client server architecture or client server relationship concepts. So transport layer design issues point of view, transport layer is basically responsible for end to end communication that enable processes to communicate with each other. Next, transport layer provided two types of services. First one is called as the connection oriented service and second one is called as the connection less service. in the TCP/IP model, for the implementation of connection-oriented services, we have defined TCP protocol. And for implementation of the connection-less services, we have defined the UDP protocol. Basically, UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. This is a connection-less protocol in the TCP/IP model, and TCP stands for the Transmission Control Protocol. This provides a connection-oriented services between the processes. Now, transport layer has defined some quality of service parameters. Basically, when we deals with the quality of service parameters, so it is studied under the reference of delay, failure probability or successful transmission probability, throughputs, transit delay, residual error ratio. For simplicity, we consider connection establishment delay is a quality of service parameter. User always expect this delay should be minimum. Then connection establishment failure probability, again user think it should be minimum. It means user's requirement is a high communication probability. Next one is a maximum throughput is a requirement. Then transit delay, again to maintain a quality of service parameter, transit delay, that is a start from the source to destination, it should be minimum. And next one is called as the residual error ratio. So again, next important point is the protection and the communication priority. So these are the some basic quality of service parameters defined at the transport layer. Now the most important thing that is discussed in the transport layer is the addressing scheme. So basically we have studied the IP addressing scheme. IP addressing scheme has defined at network layer, while at transport layer we define port addressing scheme. So this is one example of the network address, that is a 193.14.26.7. So it is defined at network layer. Now for the process to process communication, we define the port addressing. So this here 13, we have used the number 13. So this is nothing but a port number defined. Now basically from the network communication aspect, whenever we said ki we are using a port number, it basically represent a buffer, a memory buffer available at the source end, available at the destination ends. So this memory buffers, we have given the numbers. So the INA, that is the Internet Assigned Number Authority, has divided the addressing scheme, that is a transport layer addressing scheme, into three classes. Basically, transport layer addressing, port addressing scheme is of 16-bit. It is a 16-bit scheme. So with the help of 16-bit, the total number of possible addresses are 2 power 16, that is nothing but 0 to 65,535. So all these addressing scheme has been divided into three ranges. So we will start with these three ranges. Now first range is called as the well-known port address, second one is called as the registered port address, and third one is called as the dynamic port address. So let's start with the well-known port address. So the port address start from 0 to 1023 are called as the well-known port address, and this address has been assigned and controlled by the INA. It means user cannot have a permission rights on these addresses. So these are already controlled by the INA. Now next one, the addresses start from the 1024 to 4915 are called as the registered port addresses, and these are not assigned or controlled by the INA. However, these addresses can be registered with the INA to avoid any duplication. So to implement particular, when user want to implement particular service and he want to register that port, then he can choose the range port number within this range. And next one is called as the dynamic addressing port number. So dynamic port number start with the 4915 to 65,535. These are not controlled by the INA, are not need to be registered. So for development of the chatting program in a lab, we can use any port number within this range. So these are the three port addressing scheme, and it has been displayed in this diagram. So from again I summarize 10 to 1023. This is a well-known port number controlled by the particular authority called as INA. 1024 to 49,151. It is called as a registered one, and the totally dynamics means anybody can use at but their own machine, 49,152, 65,535. So in this fashion, our port addressing scheme, which is defined at transport layer, is divided into three categories. Now, next and most important term associated at the transport layer is called as a socket addressing. So whenever we write IP address along with the port number, first thing IP address and second parameter is called as the port number. So this combination is called as the socket address. So to provide an end-to-end communication, we defined a socket. So sockets, whenever we write a client-server program, we implement a socket here. So we defined IP address and port number. Now, for your just for the review, I have mentioned here some UDP, that is a user datagram port number. So like port number 7, it is called as the echo port. Uh, it is basically used by echo protocols. Now, port number 111, it is called as a RPC, that is a remote procedure call. By default, it is used by RPC. Port number 161 is by default used by the SNMP protocol, and 162 is again SNMP with the trap protocol. So these are the few protocols which are defined by the UDP protocols. Now there are the simple questions you have to solve yourself, like what are the functionality of transport layer, which devices work on the transport layer, explain transport layer addressing scheme. And now the most important and logical question is what happened if transport layer is deleted from TCP IP layer. So this is an assignment for you, and you must submit it within next 2 working days. Now these are the few objective questions we will study. uh, Question number 1 is not a work of transport layer. So end-to-end delivery, now yes, definitely it is a responsibility of transport layer. Point number 3, transmission of UDP datagram. Again, it is a responsibility of the transport layer because the UDP protocol is defined at the transport layer. And now point number 2, flow control of data frame. Now flow control and error control, these two tasks are defined at data link layer and transport layer. But here we use the word flow control along with the data frame. So data frame is a concept related with the data link layer. It means flow control of frame is a part of data link layer. It is not a function of transport layer. If we say flow control of TPDU, then it is a responsibility of transport layer. So option number 2 is a right answer for a given question. Next, if IP address is 212.34.56.2 and UDP port number is defined as a 6585, what will be the socket address? So again, definitely option number 1 is the right answer. We first mention IP address and then we mention the port number. Now this is the one research topic. TCP uses transition state diagram to handle sending and receiving segments. Find out about this diagram and how it performs flow and error controls techniques. Flow control techniques. If you are more interested about the detail, you want to study detail, then find more information about ICANN. What was it called before name change? So this is one topic you can search on the net. Then end-to-end delivery is a moment a message from, that is end-to-end, one station to next station, no, one network to another network, source to destination, none of above. This is a, and the right answer is a none of above because it is between the process to process communication. So here today I am completing the basic introduction of the transport layer and port addressing scheme. In the next lecture, we will study TCP and UDP protocols in detail. Thank you.